This is Live and Local with Kevin Wall on AM 670 KMZQ. Talk radio done right.
We continue our series of interviews with folks and their businesses making a difference here in Southern Nevada. This morning we're talking about living in your long life era with Marla Letitia, a.k.a. Nanny Bubby. I see her all the time on Instagram and Facebook. Marla, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Wow, what an honor, truly. I mean, you're a mainstay in our community, and it's truly an honor to be here with you today.
You are too kind. All of us, including all of my senior friends and family, we all aspire to a long, happy, and healthy life. The big question is, and Marla, you've been active in this area, how do we achieve such a life? And explain exactly what is the long life era.
Okay, let's start there with the long life era first. So long life era was a term that I coined because I turned 70 in January. And even though for all of my life I had said I'm going to live to 120, so that being what it was, I had been in midlife, or at least what I considered midlife, for a very, very long time. But even if I'm living to 120, at 70, I am out of midlife. And I began to drill down on that thought, which was not great. I mean, the awareness, I'd never thought of age previously. I just lived and loved and lived. But in January, I literally lost my breath and just didn't understand how to live. Now, the point is, I'm a member of the baby boomer generation. I'm sure you are as well.
Yep.
And we have ruled the world since we were born. I mean, our generation was at the forefront of absolutely everything in this country. And quite frankly, we are still there. So as an example, this baby boomer generation has the highest net worth per household, almost way over the silent generation, which is the name of the generation that came before us, and they were so silent none of us ever knew the name. And then after us is our children, Generation X, and then millennials, who are way, way at the bottom. Now, net worth per household for baby boomers is 1.6 million. That's net worth, and that's the average, right? Also, we are the largest voting bloc. But when you sum it all up about our consumer power, our voting power, our dollar power, overall by generation, the baby boomers are 73 million strong in this country and overpower every other generation in our existence at this moment, which the highest age of our generation is now 77 and the lowest is 61. So I began to wonder about my own, if you will, and not clinical, but a state of depression that upon reaching this long life era. And what I realized is that the marketing that is being done to our generation is representative of people who look nothing like us. These are people, when I see, open enrollment for Medicare or pharmaceuticals, which causes another piece of depression because apparently that's all we're good for, is open enrollment and pharmaceuticals, not Nikes, not Adidas, not, everything else is being retailed to the lower generations are not being sent to us, in our digital platforms. And I realized that those that are out there selling are missing the largest generation and our power. So I began to reframe because, listen, no one wants to die young, but no one wants to grow old. Well, there's a vacuum there. We can all agree on that. And so at the end of the day, I could not live as a senior citizen because that really looked really miserable to me. And the frame senior citizen and senior living has got such negative connotation, and it shouldn't. But what I did is I reframed the words long life era, which, by the way, begins at 50, in order to get people to recognize that this era of our lives is literally the longest era we will ever live. Childhood, 18 years. Young adulthood, 18 years. Midlife, by the way, everybody listening, is the shortest era of your life. At 50, you step into the long life era, and even if you resist it, you're stepping in at 55. That's when you get a senior discount at movie theaters. So
I love that. I love that.
I could go on forever. Sorry. Do you want to ask the follow-up question?
No. But again, Marla Letitia, a.k.a. Nanny Bubby, you see her on Instagram, on Facebook. She's everywhere. What are you trying to accomplish with the long life era and this relatively new movement that you've created?
Thank you so much for that question. You know, I really didn't even know. Honestly, I mean, people say the word called, or I was given, I just had this inspiration that I needed to just put out there my thoughts on the long life era and the coining of it. And I started a Facebook group called Long Life Era Community, which is on Facebook, and I asked everybody in your audience to join the group. Right now, we are all engaging in a 5-day exercise challenge with each other in that group. And every day we're posting our pictures of our activity. And some people are in physical therapy because they had a knee replacement. And if that's all they can do, that's all they can do. But you would not believe the strength training of more than 15% of the people in the group signed up for this challenge. And I mean, my mind has been blown at the level of their strength and activity. So now that was done and I created the group, I was followed with an inspiration that there are 3 areas of living in your lifespan versus living in your health span. So lifespan is not binary. It's vertical, or it is binary. I think it is binary, meaning you either live or you die. And when you die, that's the end of your lifespan. Completely, vertical. Health span takes up 3 things. Number 1, your physical strength and abilities, your the health of your physical body, genetic, or what you've been able to maintain and keep going. Number 2, your cognitive, which deals with your, they say, gosh, she lost her body, but she had her mind, or she lost her mind, but she had her body. Those are the things. But the third, and the most complicated, is actually the emotional. So I am concerned about the emotional. Now, there's several areas, right? There's dealing with anger, dealing with fear, dealing with resentment, all which can make you sick, by the way. But I am concerned with the mindset of your health span because I have no degrees and nothing else that I can help people do to get to, and this is the goal, centenarian age. And centenarian age is 100 years or older. After 105, you become super centenarian. And by the way, the oldest person who's ever lived on the planet recorded lived to 122. It was a woman in France. Don't recall her name. And she smoked up until she was 117, and she probably shouldn't have quit because she died at 5 years later. But with mindset, we're going to jump over to Roger Bannister. So I'll ask you, do you know who Roger Bannister is?
Yeah, the 4-minute mile thing.
The 4-minute mile thing, correctly. So not only did he break the physical barrier of being able to achieve running in the sub 4 minute mile, meaning less than 4 minutes, which in recorded history had never been done. He did that in 1954. He not only broke that physical barrier of time versus body, but he also broke, most importantly, the psychological barrier, because it had been stated over and over again that it was impossible and no human could do it. So what do you think happened in 1954 after he broke that psychological barrier? 6 weeks later, another man crossed that barrier of the sub 4 minute mile, and in 2 months later, another person did it. And to date, there are 1,755 people that have achieved that sub 4 minute mile, and many of them now are in early high school age. So it was stated back in that day that, you had to be I think Bannister was 24 when he did it. And it took years before someone psychologically understood that in, 18, 17 to 18 could also be done. And so my goal is to help change the mindset of those living in their long life era to truly know that they can live healthy past into centenarian age, past over that 100-year barrier. Currently, there's 89,000 people in America that are centenarians. My goal, and we're getting ready to launch this, is to get 120,000 people. I'm so excited. I stood up and walked around when I was saying it. 120,000 people to sign the Centenarian Mindset Pledge. And so, you have to talk to your doctor about your physical and your cognitive, and maybe a psychologist about your emotional. But when it comes to setting your mindset about living past that barrier, I'm here to help. And I just want to say this, if I can, just follow up with this, and then or go ahead. I can tell you when to ask.
No, I just because I'm running up against the clock, I want to find out how folks can access your Facebook group.
Yes.
To begin the process.
Thank you. Just go to Facebook and go to Long Life Era Community and join. That's it. Facebook, Long Life Era Community, and join. That's it. Join the fun. You can jump into the 5-day exercise challenge now and introduce yourself and have fun with us, and let's all start to work on our mindset.
Marla, thanks so much. Always good to visit with you. We have only scratched the surface, and we'll have you back on, okay?
I would love to. This was lovely. Thank you so much, Kevin. And my best to your compadres at the station, Andy and Mark and Marty. I love those guys.
Thank you. Marla Letitia, a.k.a. Nanny Bubby. You find her on Instagram and Facebook and all over social media. Stay with us. More to do as we continue. My name is Kevin Wall. Good to have you with us. Brand new hours, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on AM 670 KMZQ.